All right, Lisa, on YouTube. Can you hear me now? Can you guys hear me now on YouTube? Let me know. Okay. Eduardo, it should be where it says chapter pages. Sebastian, no, you don't have to pay anything. Just with Quizlet, just make sure you just click the X. I know they always hide somewhere the X or no, I don't want this, something like that, right? For Mr. Eduardo, I was ready for you. Here's the PDFs for today. All right, we got Calvin on YouTube as well. Great. Cool. All right, guys, since everybody's checked in. All right, today we're going to go over legal descriptions. Why do we need to have a legal description? We talked about this yesterday. Can everybody tell me? Sorry, just putting the phone on silent. Okay. Let's see. To assure both parties are on clear terms. Part of it, yes. Andreas says to get all the info. Okay. And Sebastian for the win. When trying to distinguish which property in a lot of properties or in a bunch of properties it's being referred to. Perfect. The legal description is to determine what you're buying or what you're renting, right? Because if there's a bunch of lots, like Sebastian was saying, which one's yours, right? So legal description is important. Lisa, you mean I can get the book? So for the students on Student Portal, you can download the ebook. So whoever is a student of New Direction has the PDF version of the book. And you have Quizlet as well. All in the Student Portal. Okay. All right, so legal descriptions. There's different methods of legal description, obviously. These are the three we're going to go over. It's meets and bounds, rectangular survey system, and recorded plat method. These are the three methods of legal description. Meets and bounds, rectangular survey system, and recorded plat. So later on I'm going to ask you what are the three methods of legal description. This is what you need to remember. In the state exam, they're going to say all of these are methods of legal description except. So they're going to give you a fourth one that has nothing to do with these. And that's the way the state exam goes. They trick you with a bunch of stuff. They throw info that you don't need. And see if, I don't know how that makes you a better realtor, but it helps you pass the test if you pay attention to the tiny details in the question. All right? All right, Lewis is here. Have no fear. All right, you were able to do it, restarted everything? That's what it was? Okay. All right, so methods of legal description. There are many common ways of describing property. For instance, the address, 100 Main Street. By name, we have Buckingham Palace. General description, so the South 40 acres, right? The question about this is, what is 100 Main Street? What does it define? Buckingham Palace, what does it define? The South 40 acres, what does it define? So all we're trying to say here is that these are quick references to something, but do not describe what it is. Remember, when you buy a piece of property, right, you're not buying what's on it. You're buying the land. Whatever's on it, great. If there's nothing on it, it doesn't matter because the deed transfers land. If there's already a building on it, 1 family, 2 family, 3, 4, 100, right? That's an added bonus. But the deed describes land only. And that's what we're going to learn. So such informal descriptions are not acceptable for use in public recordation or, generally speaking, in a court of law, because they lack both the permanence and sufficient information for a survey to locate the property. Now, even if a legal document or public record refers to an address, the reference is always supported by an accepted legal description. So if you guys own a home right now, you can go check your deed, and it says 100 Main Street, right? That's just the address. It says their address. And then there's another page that says Schedule C, for instance, or Schedule A, depending on the document you're using, right? That says the actual description of the property. So, for instance, the block and lot, we're going to talk about it. It could say starting on point whatever, going west 300 feet, and then going south 200 feet, and so on. So it gives you a description so that a surveyor can come and see what's yours and what's not. And I think you guys already know why having a perfect description of your property is necessary, right? You guys remember something that could use a good survey? Could you say that louder? To make sure that nobody's going to steal part of your property, right, Stephen? Right, exactly, right. That fence that was moved over. Encroachment whipping, perfect. Encroachment. So make sure nobody's encroaching on your property or attempting to steal your property or portion of your property. Very good. So survey is key. And the survey will follow one of these three methods. Why? To accurately locate and identify the boundaries of the subject parcel to a degree acceptable by courts of law in the state where the property is located. This is the key. This is the key. We want to have an actual description. This is yours, not theirs. They're the ones that need to move. Okay? By the way, Stephen, I already sent a letter out to your neighbor, okay? You gave me your address. I'm sorry, man. Anyway. All right, the general criteria for legal description. Oh, hold on a second. Stephanie, would you survey the property before or after buying the property? I'm going to let you answer that one yourself. What do you think? After asking, what do you think? Should you buy the property and figure out that they're stealing it from you? Right? Or should you figure out first before you buy it? Before. So that's why during the process of contract to closing, we do inspections. One of the inspections that could be done is called a survey. So before we close, we should have a survey. Okay? By the way, what I just did with you, Stephanie, right now, is something you guys need to do in the exam. And quite honestly, a lot of people, after you do the practice exam that I have for you guys, available online before you do the actual exam, when you do the practice exam, or even when you're doing the questions at the end of each chapter in the student portal, right? Even doing those questions, sometimes we have them wrong, right? We answer the wrong thing. This is where we pause and figure out, wait a minute. Here's my answer, right? Here's my answer. Let me read the question again. I guarantee you 90% of the times, if not more, 90% of the times, after you read the question again, right? Because Stephanie was smiling before I even finished reading the question. So 90% of the times before, after you read the question again, you'll realize, that's what it was. A tiny thing, a comma, an except, a do not, things like that, that change the meaning of what you read. Okay? So make sure you pay attention to the questions and all the details of it. Let's see. I understood, just wanted to verify clearly, never been through the buying process. Well, that's why I'm explaining. And your question helps everybody else. I appreciate that. Mr. Jose on YouTube. I failed the second exam by 4 points, but I won't give up. You shouldn't give up. And if it's by 4 points, you're almost there, my man. Almost. The cool thing about it is that those 4 points did not define how good of a realtor you're going to be. Unfortunately, we have to pass an exam in order to figure out if we're going to be good realtors or not, unfortunately. Okay? We're almost there. If you have any questions, reach out. Remember that. All right, so the general criteria for legal description is that it alone provides sufficient data for a surveyor to locate the parcel. Legal description identifies the property as unique and distinct from all other properties. A legal description provides accuracy and consistency over time, and systems of legal description, in theory, facilitate transfers of ownership and prevent boundary disputes and problems with the chain of title. Okay? What is a chain of title? You guys should know by now. That was chapter 6. What is a chain of title? No? Whipping wrote abstract. Andrea says attached. What is a chain? What is a chain? So, Whipping, you wrote abstract, but abstract is not a chain of title. Abstract is a summary or history of title. What is a chain of title? That's what I'm asking. Sebastian wrote, oh, hold on, there's another answer before that. Ron says receipts of previous titles. Okay. I can use that one. Sebastian says links. And Marlon says list of all the titles. Okay, what is all the titles? Title is one thing. Okay? So, list of all deeds. Marlon, okay? Because deed and title are two different things. The deed is part of the title, but the deed is not title. Okay? Perfect. Owners. So, list of all the owners. All right? I want you guys to be clear about this because if you guys remember from chapter 6, I asked you what was evidence of title, and some of you answered deed. The deed is not evidence of title. It just shows that it transferred from one person to another. Okay? So title is a combination of all the documents that affect ownership to the property. For instance, a deed, a mortgage, tax liens, other municipal liens, judgments, the judgments against the property. So everything that's recorded against the property comprises of the title. Okay? So history of the transfers and also anything that's there. Yeah, history of transfers and anything else that's there. So the chain of title is what links the current owner to the previous owner and so on, and who has any type of claim to title. That's what a chain of title is. So chapter 6. Now, a legal description is required for what? For public recording. If I go to public records and I say I want to put a lien against this property because they failed to pay me, right? Public records is going to say, or the registrar is going to say, well, which property? Well, the one on 100 Main Street. Well, just want to make sure because there's 100A Main Street, there's 100B Main Street. Which one is it? You guys understand the challenge here? That's why the legal description must be there. Which property are you going after? Okay. For creating a valid deed of conveyance or lease, for completing mortgage documents, every mortgage must have an actual legal description. For executing and recording other legal documents. In addition, a legal description provides a basis for court rulings on encroachments, okay, and easements. Encroachments, illegal extension onto somebody else's property, right? That's where you remove a fence and move it into somebody else's property about 1 foot or 2, right? What about easements? What is an easement? Anybody? What is easement? A right to someone's property. There's something missing there, Sebastian. You got everything. There's one word missing there. And Stephanie for the save. Right to use someone's property. Okay, so encroachment, illegal extension, you're moving into somebody else's property. And Marlon wrote shared property, like a shared driveway. Perfect. I have the right to use half of your driveway. You have the right to use half of my driveway. I have an easement on your half. You have an easement on my half. So easement is the right to use someone else's property. Okay. Sebastian says, I couldn't find the definition in my notes fast enough. You couldn't scan your brain that fast? Okay. Don't worry though. The reason why I'm going back and forth is just as a refresher, so don't worry about it. Worry about it when you get to the exam. Right now, it's okay. I just keep on pumping info and bringing it back and forth and so on. Now, Lisa wrote, runs with the land. Lisa on YouTube, runs with the land. Absolutely. See, when I sell my house, Marlon, right, you don't get to own the half of the driveway. When I sell my house, the house is now sold to somebody else that has the same right that I previously had. So easements, sorry, right there, easements never end unless I buy your side. See, if I buy Marlon's side of the property, now I own both. So why would I divide the driveway? Do I have to ask permission to myself to use the other half? No, I'm the same owner. Okay, so again, easements run forever, Lisa. Perfect. Easements run forever with the land, unless both parties agree to terminate the easement, or one party buys the other side, and now it becomes their own property. Easement ends right away. Okay. Jose, what days are you transmitting live? And also, do you transmit in the morning? So the classes change a little bit. It used to be 5 days a week, morning and evening. Unfortunately, and I apologize for that. Unfortunately, I underwent a surgery, and I'm going to go through another one pretty soon. So I cannot do 5 days, morning and evening. But we have evening class Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and it will be live. We have morning class Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay, morning class starting on April 7th. Okay, it should be somewhere down here, scrolling the bottom. Okay, the dates and times. Okay, so if you want to go through that, you can. Sebastian, yeah, just waiting on an exam that I have to do to figure out the surgery. And this one I'm going to be probably 2 to 3 months away. Yeah. But morning class is going to start with a new instructor. She's has a lot of energy as well, loud voice, so you guys will be awake right in the morning. Right? It's going to be cool. All right. Next thing. The 3 accepted methods of legally describing parcels of real estate are meets and bounds, rectangular survey system or government survey method, and recorded plat method and lot and block method. Okay. Let's start with meets and bounds. Meets and bounds. Yes, Lisa, it's long-term back injury, but it will be okay after the surgeries. That's what I hope. Thank you. All right, so let's start with meets and bounds. As the name says, very simple. Meets means measurements, but I'm going to make it simple for you. It's where property line meets and creates a boundary. All right, so here's your property lines. Where they meet at all 4 corners, and it creates the boundary of what your property is. Okay, that's the easiest way to remember meets and bounds. Bounds, boundaries. Meets, where the property line meets and creates the boundaries. Okay, so a meets and bounds description meets and bounds description identifies the boundaries of a parcel of real estate using reference points, distances, and angles. The description always identifies an enclosed area, as I just drew on the book, by starting at the origination point, which is called point of beginning. Okay? In the school or state exam, if it asks you what type of description starts at a point of beginning, meets and bounds. Okay? Or POB. And returning at the POB at the end of the description, returning to the point of beginning. The meets and bounds must return to the point of beginning in order to be valid. Why? Because we need to close the box. If I start here and I never return to this point, then my property is just open-ended. No, I need to come back, to the point where I started in order to close that box. The term meets refers to distance and direction, and the term bounds refers to fixed reference points called monuments or landmarks. Now, back in the day, we would use natural landmarks, which could be trees, rocks, rivers, and even lakes. Nowadays, we use artificial landmarks. Some descriptions still use the old way because never been updated, but newer descriptions include surveyor stakes. A surveyor will mark the ground to say, hey, this is where the property ends. Okay? These are called surveyor stakes. Next, we have many states use meets and bounds description to describe properties within the rectangular survey system, which I'm going to show you later. Meets and bounds description begins with identification of the city, county, and state where the property is located. Next, it goes to the point of beginning and describes the distance and direction from the point of beginning to the first monument and then to subsequent monuments that define properties enclosed perimeter. Monuments are just landmarks. Monuments are just landmarks. Okay? So this is a map, obviously. Right? What I want to point out is that usually the maps have this. Maps will have this right here and an arrow pointing somewhere. This means north, right? Simple. Means north. So that means that when you're reading the map, you should have the map facing up, right? And that's what we have here. If you guys look at it, this is north. And obviously, if it's down here, it's south. And the biggest problem that people have is figuring out east and west, right? And I'll explain why. Because in the Western countries, right? In the Western countries, we read left to right. We read left to right. So by reading, we would say north, south, and then east and west. Because we read left to right. And the way we say it is north, south, east, and west. So that means that east would come first. But no, it doesn't even sound right. Ew. Right? It doesn't even sound right. So it's north and south. And we. West is always left. And east is always to the right. Okay? West is always to the left. East is always to the right. You're probably thinking, I'm a realtor. Why do I need to know this stuff? Right? Sebastian is like, yeah. All right. Because of this. When you're describing a property or when you're trying to find out a property, I know it's a surveyor's job. I know it's the title company's job. I know it's the attorney's job. It's everybody else's job. But if you guys forgot already, we're real estate consultants and we're supposed to know the basics at least. Right? This is one of the basics. We have a line on the left and we have a line on the right. This is the road in the middle. Okay? This left line and right line represent west and east. Up here, we have a line on top when we look at the map, and we have a line at the bottom. North and south line. Again, why is this important? If you're buying a lot versus a house, right, in a subdivision that's being developed yet, right? I mean, still being developed. When you go there with your potential clients, hey, this is pre-construction, it will be built, it's located here. And you're like, wow, that's a whole lot of land. Where is our lot? Which one is ours? If a stake is not there saying lot 109, you need to figure out which lot it is. And this is the description. This is how we find it. It says, a parcel of land located in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, having the following description: commencing or beginning at the intersection of the south line of Route 199 and the middle of Flint Creek. So where does it begin? In the south line of Route 199 and the middle of Flint Creek. So let's go over here real quick. This is Route 199. South line, obviously, is this one, right? But if you guys notice, beyond this street, it continues. So where does it start? Where's our property? Is it going to be on this side, or is it going to be on that side towards the river or the creek? If it says in the middle of the creek, then we're going to go towards the creek. So this does not matter. Now we identify it's the south line. Here's Flint Creek, right? Flint Creek. That means our property line begins right here on the south line, so the one below, and then the middle of the river, or creek, I'm sorry. Now you guys remember why we have part of the river, right? Or the creek. Does anybody remember what rights do we have when we have a river or a stream or a creek? What rights do we have? Close. That's for lakes and large bodies of water. Anybody? Hold on, I'll get to that. What did you just write? What is that? Riparian? You did the same thing that Lydian is doing here. Riparian. We have riparian rights. River. Yes, Andrea. These are water rights, which could be either littoral or riparian. Littoral is if we're addressing lakes or large bodies of water that don't have any type of current or stream. Anything with a stream or a waterway is called riparian rights. Riparian for river, stream, right? So the reason why this starts at the middle of the creek is because the riparian rights allow you to own the property all the way to the middle of the water. Beyond the middle of the water belongs to somebody else, all right? So we identify that. Go back to this. What it says next. After we identified the point of beginning, right? It says this. It says then. I mean thence. That's what it says. What I want you guys to remember is that this word means then. So you found the point of beginning. What do you do next, or then, is we're going to go southeasterly along the center thread of Flint Creek. And we're going to go 410 feet, more or less, to the willow tree. Okay, so we're going to follow the creek, right? Southeasterly, 410 feet until we reach the willow tree. Let's figure this out. So if we were in the survey, we would start right here, and we would go southeasterly. Why is it southeasterly and not south? Because it's not a straight line. In fact, it keeps on going to the right. And if it goes to the right, east. Great. So we keep on going, we keep on going, we keep on going, until we reach a point that we find. We look to the right, and what do we see? The willow tree. And that's a monument. This is a monument or a landmark. Okay? or landmark that helps us identify the first stop. Monument or landmark. The tree is a natural monument or landmark. We stop right there. We saw the tree, boom, stop. Okay, what's next? Okay. So going back to this, to the description. And it says, thence, which you already know simply means then, we're going to go north 65 degrees west, and we're going to travel 500 feet, more or less, to the east. Look what it says. To the east line of Dowell Road. To the east line of Dowell Road. Let's go back up. All right, we're at the willow tree. That's where we stopped. And now we have 65 degrees, and we're going to go northwest because we're going left. And we're going to go 500 feet more or less until we reach another stop. This is the stop right here. Okay. Now this road is Dowell Road, and they said it's the east line. So there's a line here. There's a line here. Where do we stop? We stop at the east line. Okay, simple. Next thing we have in the description clear this. It says, then we're going to go north 2 degrees east, 200 feet, more or less, along the east line of Dowell Road to the south line of Route 199. So now that we reached Dowell Road, obviously 2 degrees, we're not going to see much here, right? But we're going to go 2 degrees north, right there, until we reach the next point, which is the south line, not the north line, the south line of Route 199, okay? And once we reach that point, it says, thence we're going to go north 90 degrees east, 325 feet more or less, along the south line of Route 189 to the point of beginning. Oh, sorry. And that's what we have here. 90 degrees. And we're going to go east, just to the right. And we get back to the point of beginning. So if you guys notice, we just identified this piece of land right here. Right there, this is ours. I know it takes some time because we're walking all these feet to figure out what's ours, what's theirs, to separate completely what is our property, what is their property. And that's it. Here, somebody else owns it. Here, somebody else owns it. Across the street, somebody else owns it. Across the Route 199, somebody else owns it. Our property, right there, in red. Not that hard, right? Right? Great. Why is this important? Because state exam, they might have a question that says to identify which is the largest lot, for instance, and it'll give you 4 different descriptions. Right? Simple descriptions, not as complicated as this, but 4 simple descriptions that will force you to identify which lot, lot A, lot B, lot C, or lot D, in that description. Okay. Hey Sanam, how are you? Sebastian says simpler but not simple. It was easy. All you had to do was walk 200 feet to one side, 500 feet to the other, look at the tree. Not that hard. Lisa's asking, do we do this too or the surveyor? So technically, all this is done by the surveyor. So when it reaches your hands, you already know which lot it is. But like I said, if you're in the development that's happening now, right? And you're trying to show pre-construction, you're trying to show your client what's theirs and what's not, right? Sometimes we need to be able to identify what's on the map, okay? Especially in remote areas, that like the whole area is being developed, right? So in the city, we don't have that problem. In the city, once you reach, it's 100 Main Street and lot and block and whatever, it's easy to look at and it's done. An area that's like 100 acres and they're cutting it into pieces, once you get there, it's all dirt. So how do we identify it, right? Reference points. Willow tree, it could be a rock, it could be the creek, right? So you have to be able to identify. Okay? And that's what a meets and bounds does. Next we have rectangular survey system. The rectangular survey system is just, as it says, we try to do everything into squares or rectangles, right? All right, let's go back. Eduardo asks, what about if the willow tree disappears? Or any other reference. So if you guys remember what I said earlier, back in the day, we would use natural monuments as a reference point, okay? Nowadays, surveyors put their stake there so it doesn't move. Trees could be removed, rocks could be moved. Now a surveyor already saw the property and determined that this is what it is. So they made their measurements, whatever. This is your property. So yes, natural stuff could be moved by natural forces, for instance. Okay? So as things upgraded over the years, surveyors updated their monuments. Okay, but great question. Annabelle, love your videos. I've been learning a lot. I have a question. After we pass the school test, how long do we have to pass the state test? Annabelle, thank you. And great question. In the state of New Jersey, you have 1 year. From the moment you passed your school test, you have 1 year to take the state test and activate your license. Okay? So the total period of time to activate your license is 1 year. Within that year, you have to do the state. I wouldn't wait that long. Lisa, we don't use the rectangular survey system in New Jersey. We use the other two. Okay? But we still need to know about it, just like we need to know about the willow tree and the monuments. You still need to know about it. Stephanie, I'm going to explain now. So the rectangular survey system, also called government survey method, is a newer method. It was used to simplify, as it says here, simplify and standardize descriptions as a replacement of the cumbersome and often inaccurate meets and bounds method. For several reasons, like Mr. Eduardo pointed out, what if the tree moves or is removed or a rock rolls down the street? How do we know now what's ours and what's theirs? Right. What people started to do back then with this new system is, hey, any new town that we go to or township, we're going to divide it into perfect squares. This way, there's no ifs and buts about it. It's a square, right? We don't have to get triangles or just weird shapes. Everything is squares. So in the original states, because this is not used in the original 13 states, they're very old, right? So they use the old system. The original 13 states or colonies, right? We use meets and bounds, and we use the block and lot. Once we go west to the other states, they use a combination, and then you reach California as an example, and boom, it's squares all over. You reach Florida, boom, squares all over, or a combination of it. So the system was further modified to facilitate the transfer of large quantities of government-owned Western lands to private parties. To institute the system, all affected land was surveyed using latitude, which is east and west, and longitude, which is north and south lines. The object or the goal was to create uniform grids of squares called townships. Here in New Jersey, a township could be, let's say, 100 square miles. A township could be 5,000 square miles. There's no uniformity on size for townships. Okay, they determine the township based on their development. Okay, when we go westward, no, they're exact blocks of the same size. That's how we determine townships over there. Hold on a second. Lisa's saying, I never knew we had to take another test. So no, you have the school test, which is to complete your course at whatever school you're going through. You have to complete the course there, and they'll give you a certificate, Lisa. Once you have that certificate on hand, or they upload you to the system, now you're able to take the state exam, which is the one that will help you enable the license. Without our exam as a school, our students cannot go to take the state exam because we have to upload you to the system. Okay? All right. Brenda, how many? Sebastian says there's also prerequisites for the state exam. Yeah, the prerequisite is that you pass mine. Brenda, how many tries can you take at the state exam? How many 45 bucks do you have? Every time you go there, it's 45 bucks. So how many tries do you have? Make it 1. That's it. If you got enough money, you just want to give it a try at it every other month, you can as well. Totally up to you. But it's 47 bucks. They have no limit for how many times you can do it. At one point, they might tell you, hey, come back in a month instead of next week. That's what it is. Okay? But we'll talk better about that once we get to the state portion, because every state is different when it comes to that. All right, so rectangular survey system works well for describing properties that are square or rectangular in shape, since these can be described as fractions or of sections. However, for an irregular shape such as a triangle, the rectangular survey system is inadequate as a method of legal description. The full description has to include meets and bounds or lot and block, so a mix of descriptions to be able to find something that's irregular. Here's a rectangular survey system. I think it's obvious. Bunch of squares. Rectangles, right? A square is a rectangle. Not all rectangles are squares, but bunch of rectangles. All right? So if you guys notice, right here it says township. This is township A. Okay? Somewhere in Florida in Tallahassee, township A. These are called meridians. Lines. Okay, meridians. The range is from one to the other. And it's 6 miles. We're going to go over this in a second. I'm just showing you in the figure here. Right? And then we have baselines, which are the parallel lines. These are baselines. And here's the tiers. So range is from left to right. Tiers, top to bottom. And they're also 6 miles. So pretty much a township is a 6 mile square. It's 6 by 6. Okay? I'm sorry, 6 by 6 mile square. So 36 square miles. Okay? As I was saying, for the state exam in the 13 original states, this is not heavily tested. You got to know the basics. That's why we go over it. Once we go towards some other states, this is heavily tested. So meridian is the north-south longitudinal lines. And when you see meridian, north-south longitudinal lines on the survey grid. The principal meridian, when you see principal meridian, is the one line that we use as reference. If you guys noticed throughout your lifetime, right, we have Earth, right? And Earth is cut into slices as far as, this is not an onion or a basketball, okay? but Earth is cut into slices according to time zones. Okay, the time zones are points of reference, and that's what we're going to talk about later as far as benchmarks. In this case, the meridians are points of reference. Okay, so it's the one line right here. These are all meridians. There'll be points of reference to the next one and the next one. The principal meridian is the one that says this is where we start. We either go left or we go right. Okay. A parallel, when you see parallel, we're talking about the east and west latitudinal line. And there's a base parallel also, the reference point, right, for east or west. Range of each township is 6 miles wide, so that's the width. And tiers, don't cry over this. The tiers are 6 miles wide, up or down. Most likely to show up in state exam will be something towards this. A township is the area enclosed by the intersection of 2 consecutive meridians and 2 consecutive parallels. As a shaded square marked on A, as I showed you in the illustration. And since the parallels and meridians are 6 miles apart, a township is a square with 6 miles on each side. Therefore, the area of a township is 36 square miles. The area of a township is 36 square miles. Remember that. The area of a township is 36 square miles. Good? All right. Next, rectangular survey system divides the township into 36 squares. So if the township is 36 square miles, right, and we divide it into 36 squares, that means we have a section of 1 square mile each. So each section within the township, so we divide townships into sections, each section is equally divided into 1 square mile, which is the same as 640 acres. Okay, these are the same. 1 square mile or 640 acres. 1 square mile or 640 acres. All right. So here's an example of a township. Perfect square, right? 36 square miles because it's 6 by 6. 6 by 6. So it's a total of 36 square miles. Okay. 36 square miles. And then each section is 1 mile by 1 mile. So it's 1 square mile. Each section. And you might live somewhere here on section 1 of this township. You guys understand? So they try to make it even so it's easier to identify rather than the complicated ways we have here. But again, that's what evolution is. We start off with, hey, whatever we can get. And eventually we're like, okay, let's make even blocks so people know where they are. Now, each section can be further divided into smaller sections. So where's my property? My property is right here. I got 10 acres right here. What is right here? How can we define what is right here? Okay. The total thing, first of all, is 640 acres. We said that. This is the same as 1 square mile. 1 square mile for that square, for the section, right? And then we're going to divide the section into 4 parts. If I have a quarter of the section, Let's say this is what I own. That means I own 160 acres. Because it's 640 divided by 4. I got a quarter, so 640 divided by 4. So I have 160 acres. Simple. Good so far? The question is, which quarter do I have? I know I have a quarter, but which quarter do I have? So in this example here, it says southwest quarter of section is 1/4 section. Where's the southwest quarter? Take these out of here. If I were to divide this by 4, I just put a cross over here. If you guys see it, there's a cross. And this is north, this is south, and we. Okay? So north, south, we. Where's the southwest quarter? Which quarter do I own? Bottom left. This would be it. This is my quarter right there. I have 160 acres at the bottom left of this section. Give me a thumbs up if it's good so far. Okay, great. Now, what if they said that what I own when I look at the map and when I look at the description, what if they said I had the east half of the southwest quarter? East half of the southwest quarter. I'm going to go back here. We already know that this is what I own somewhere here, right? And then I have the east half. Let's zoom in. We're going to divide this into 2 parts. This is the west. This is the east. To the right of the line, even cut, right? To the right of the line is the east half. So what do I own? This portion. And it's 80 acres because the quarter is 160. So if I own half of it, right? Half of 160 is 80. I only have 80 acres in this section. Okay? I'm going to go as slow as I can because we're going to do a few exercises in a second, okay? And I'm not talking about jumping jacks, so don't worry. All right, so let's clear this. We got to it. Now, what if they said that I own the east half of the southwest quarter of the southwest quarter? Now it got complicated, right? Go back here. East half of the southwest quarter, we got southwest quarter, of the southwest quarter. That means we have to divide this one. This quarter needs to be divided into 4 because it's a quarter of the quarter. And if you guys look at it, let's take these lines out of here so it's not confusing. If you guys look at it, what do we have? We have a cross again. North, south, we. This is the southwest quarter, but what is this? Okay, the whole thing is the southwest quarter, but what is this now that we just divided? Where am I? Okay, bottom left of the bottom left. Southwest quarter. Right? So this is where I'm at. But they said it's the east half of this quarter. Didn't they? Isn't that what they said in the description? I keep on being downgraded, guys. It sucks. I had 160 acres in the beginning. Then they gave me 80. And now I get the half of this one. The east half is right there. 20 acres on the right of the bottom left quarter of the bottom left quarter. 20 acres. That's the description of the east half of the southwest quarter of the southwest quarter. Not that bad, right? It's easy. You got this. Let's see if you guys got it. Oh wow, I got 14 people watching on YouTube live. If you guys have questions, reach out. That doesn't let me clear. All right. We'll redo the whole thing. All right, you guys need to have either a piece of paper or try to do it on your computer somehow. Or if you have the book, you can always write in the book. Run. You need to use the bathroom, run. Did you just say 1 minute? Is that what you do in the bathroom? Minutes? Oh, 1 minute. Got it. You wrote mint. What do you want me to say? It's a little confused. All right, for some reason. Sorry. So this is section 1. Okay. And I'm going to divide section 1 into a couple of quarters. And I'm going to make it simple for the first one. What I want you guys to do is identify this quarter right here. Now, don't give me the answer yet, only when I ask for it. I want you to write on a piece of paper, draw this, practice. Don't forget that each cross, right? Up, down, left, right. Each cross represents north, south, east, and west, okay? What I want you to tell me is not how many acres it has. That's not what I'm looking for. I want you to tell me, like we just went over, which quarter of a quarter of a quarter it is. For instance, it could have been the northeast quarter of the southwest quarter of the northwest quarter, something like that. That's what I want you to try to give me as an answer. Only when I ask. For now, write it down, and I'll ask you in a little bit. Give you a few seconds to do that. YouTubers as well. Practice. So let me see here. Josh and of course Ron, they're conspiring against me because I said don't give me answers yet, and they just start writing the answers away. I said don't give me answers when I ask for it. Delete, delete, retract. It's okay, don't worry. You got too excited to give the answer? All right, we're going to figure out in a second if that's correct. All right. Only when I ask for it. I'm going to give you guys some time to go over this. Finished? Okay. Josh, are you praying? I just saw Josh going like this. So I don't know if you... Oh, you were following these lines. That's what you're saying. That's okay. Cool. All right. I don't know. You could be praying for the final exam to help you. I don't know. Lisa, missing something. But we'll go over that in a second. All right, Zoomers, who has not finished yet? Raise your hand. All right, everybody finished? All right, give me answers. What are the answers? Lisa says I'm funny praying. I wasn't praying. It was Josh. I was just following his movements. I don't know. I didn't know what he was doing. I just want to make sure. No. I'm looking for the answers. You guys are not typing. What's going on? I need your answers. I got one answer, two answers, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, coming through. All right, cool. Keep on going. I want everybody to answer this. There's no wrong answer, so just write whatever you need to write related to this, okay? Before Lewis writes something unrelated, just want to make sure. All right, very good. All right, let's figure out the answer. So what we're trying to find out is which quarter this is, right? Okay, and this is going to be right here, quarter of a quarter, right? Valerie, yes, we are live on chapter 9. And Denise, I was just asking which quarter this is. All right, so we're going to zoom in because we got to start with the smallest one because it's a quarter of a quarter. So you cannot start with the largest one because you don't fit smaller quarters in, bigger quarters into the smaller ones. So start with the smallest and go that way. So what do we have here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters down here. We have north, south, west, east. Where's number 4? It's in the, it's in the southeast quarter. That's where it's at. So quarter number 4 is the southeast. Great. So because it's a quarter of a quarter, let me clear this out now. Because it's a quarter of a quarter, that's what it is. This is the southeast quarter of, and now this is right here. Okay. And again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 quarters again. And again, we have a cross, right? So we have north, south, west, and east. Where's number 4? Again, on the southeast. That's easy so far, right? Clear that. This one I'm going to do real quick because it's the simplest one. So south, east of, this is the whole section in the township. I was always very good at coloring when I was a kid. I'm doing my best over here, okay? All right. And again, we have 4 quarters. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's the 4th one located? Southeast. All right? So guys, this tiny square right here is located on the southeast quarter of the southeast quarter of the southeast quarter of section 1 or section 10 or section 30, right? But it's a quarter of a quarter of a quarter. So this one was the easiest one. Southeast quarter of the southeast quarter of the southeast quarter. So in terms of description, so Joshua, you tried to do like going all mathematical on me, right? But for legal description, it's not 1/64th of something. No, it's southeast quarter of the southeast quarter to be able to identify where it is. Okay? Because it could have been, like the next one I'm going to present, it could have been somewhere else. Right? So as far as size, get it. That's the 10 acres. It's 1/64th of the 640 acres. I get it. What are you trying to say? But for identifying where it is, that does not work. Okay? So that was great. Let's clear all this out. I'm going to draw it again. So you guys already know what to expect. I'm going to draw this again. That's the one I want you guys to identify right now. Make sure you're always drawing. Don't try to do it on top of your head because it doesn't always work. Just like math, doesn't matter how good you are in the state exam. Sorry, I'm just zooming out. In the state exam, write it down, always. Now, Josh and Ron, do not answer until I ask for it. Thank you. YouTubers, the same thing. But you guys, whenever you're ready, you can answer. Andrea, I just warned Josh and Ron not to give me an answer yet. You gotta wait until I ask for it. Mohammed, the same thing. Wait until I ask for it. I'm not asking for answers yet. I'm waiting for everybody to answer so they don't follow someone else. All right. Let me know if you have not finished yet. Raise your hand if you have not finished yet. All right. 1, 2, okay, 3. I'll wait a little bit longer. YouTubers, if you want to give me an answer, go ahead, write it down. Only for people on YouTube, not Zoomers. You guys need to wait a little bit longer. Ready? Who hasn't finished yet? Okay, good. Give me answers, everybody. Brenda, is it possible for all three to be different directions? It is possible for all of them to be in different directions, yes. All right. Cool, cool, cool. We got some great answers. Definitely. Wait, did I work my answer out backwards? Let's figure it out. Let's figure out if you had it backwards or if you had it straight. We need to start always with the smallest one. Again, this is what we're trying to identify, this quarter right here. This is the southwest quarter, right? Louis, you celebrate, that's a premature celebration. You just got one right. We still have more to go. He's already like, yes. Like, come on, relax. Got two more to go. So this is the southwest quarter. And then it's located right here. So this is the northwest quarter. Okay. Let's see the celebration again. Was it right? No? Wah, wah, wah. All right. And then it's all the way up here. Right? All the way up here. So northeast quarter. The answer for this one would have been southwest quarter of northwest quarter of northeast quarter. All right, some of you are clapping, celebrating. There you go. And Lewis is like, oh my God. Premature celebration, I'm telling you. There's a cure for that. All right, I have a question from Lisa on YouTube. Would it ever be west-south? So no, because directionals always start by north or south. The way we stipulated things, it would be the same as you telling me the minutes before you tell me the hours. So we stipulated that there's always north or south first, and then we go either east or west. Okay? Ready for another one? All right. Go ahead, have fun. Do not answer until I ask for it. Okay? Annabelle, if you have any particular question you want to go over, just let me know. I will have quiz reviews coming up in about 5 weeks. Right now, I don't have any because I started a brand new class. Okay, so if you have specific questions, reach out to me. 908-418-8325. Send me a message on WhatsApp. If I don't answer right away, please repeat. Keep on insisting until I get back to you. All right, just giving you a heads up. I have a lot of messages. So if you don't keep on going, it's tough. Hey, Ruth, what's up? Why aren't you on Zoom? can always join Zoom. All right, raise your hand if you haven't finished yet, so I know. 1, 2, 3. Okay. YouTubers, if you want to give me the answer, you can. YouTubers, you can give me the answer. Zoomers, we're waiting a little bit longer. Are you ready? Ready? Zoomers? They're already giving me answers. I didn't ask for it. I just asked if you were ready. Fine, give me all the answers. Go ahead. Say it louder, please.
Northwest.
All right, let's figure it out. We start with the smallest one. Okay. And again, we're trying to identify this right here. First point is north or south, so this is pointing north, right? And then it's east or west, so this is pointing west. So we start off with saying that this is the northwest quarter, okay? And it's located right here, okay? On the north east quarter. Let me fill this out so you visualize better. Right? And then right here. I know it looks amazing. You guys understand what I'm trying to do here. Northwest. So what we have here is that this square right here is located on the northwest quarter of northeast quarter of northwest quarter. Raise your hand if you had this right. Not bad. Majority. Very good. That's what you had, right? One more? Just for fun? One more? All right. We'll do it. Just erase all this. Can I give you one where you have to draw it? Yeah, but how am I going to see the answer? In the state exam, you're not going to have to draw any of them, but you're going to have to be able to identify which one it is. If it's a 10-acre square, if it's a 20, if it's a 80, whatever it might be. Okay? And a few other things that they might ask. All right, there you go. Not give me the answer. At least not yet. Lisa, what table are you looking for? I'm sorry. All right, raise your hand if you haven't finished yet. 1, 2, 3. Okay. A few more seconds. YouTubers, if you want to answer, you can answer already. Only YouTube, not Zoom. Okay. Ready? Ready? 3, 2, 1. Give me answers. You guys will be the worst at this. Like some of you, like you have like flag pulled right away on you. Like, nope, go back. Full start. All right. Okay, feeling better? You look better. All right, so let's figure out what we have here. Valerie, you're fired. What do you mean you're driving and watching this? Pay attention to the road. All right, this is where we at. So we start by looking at south, east, because anything pointing this way is east, anything pointing this way is south, right? This quarter is located right here. So pointing down, pointing that way, right? This means west, this means south. Lisa, north, south can never be. It's either northwest, right? Or northeast, or southwest, west, or southeast, okay? Ruth, you got part of it. There's one part missing right here. They're all pointing down, right? But this one right here, that way. So east, but it starts in the north. So what do we have? This first one is the southeast quarter, right? This second one is the southwest quarter. And big one here is the northeast quarter. So what we own is located on the southeast quarter of the southwest quarter of the northeast quarter of section 1. Okay? Everybody got it? Okay, who had this one wrong? Okay? Those of you that had it wrong, did you figure out why it was wrong? Okay. Lewis, based on your answer, I think you realize what the issue was, and also, as a firefighter, I'm not concerned for your health and safety if you don't know directions. North, south, east, or west. Imagine they tell him the fire is on the northwest side of this building. He goes to the southeast. I'm just messing with you, okay? All right. All right, we good? Go here. That was it. The third method, which is going to take us to the break, is the recorded plat method, also known as block and lot. Block and lot. Block and lot method. So this is very common here in New Jersey, block and lot, and also the meets and bounds. So under this system, tracts of land. All right, hold on. Andrea says, I froze. Not here on my computer, not on YouTube. So this is Zoom. Hold on a second. There you go. All right, we're back. Cool. Always fighting with technology. Thanks, Marlon. I'm a cool guy like that. Always frozen. Chill. All right. What do we have here? So lots and lots. So under this system, tracts of land are subdivided into lots, and the entire group of lots comprises of a subdivision. So when there's more than one lot, that's a subdivision. In a large subdivision, lots may be grouped into other blocks for ease of reference. The entire subdivision is surveyed to specify size and location of each lot and block. Now, the surveyor then incorporates data into a plat of survey, also called subdivision plat map. Okay, so when you see plat, the word plat simply means map. These are the same. Plat means map. It's just that a plat is a larger map. A plat is a map of the whole subdivision. Okay? That's all it is. Yes, Stephanie, that's what I said. We don't use, in the original 13 states, we do not use the rectangular survey system. All right, so this is it. This is most commonly known here in New Jersey as an example, which is the block and lot. This Grand Oaks subdivision, so this right here is Main Street as an example, and this is the Grand Oaks subdivision. and we are on block 8. So this whole thing, this cul-de-sac right here, this whole thing is block 8. So if we were to go like this, that's the block, the whole thing, right? Now, each one of these is a lot. So if my property is located on lot 6, and this would be my property right here, it will be defined as lot 6 in block 8 of Great Oaks subdivision. That's my house right there, as an example. Okay. If your house, and this is, again, this is the importance of knowing how to read these things, because if these are just divided for now, but nothing's built yet, right? You're gonna go there, you just see land. You have to be able to say, oh, okay, this is the spot where my house is gonna be at, right? Now, do I want to be right there at the end of it? Do I want to be in the beginning of it? Somewhere in the middle? Where do I want to be? Okay. The description format, very simple. It says lot 7, block 8, Grand Oaks subdivision. If you're in a state where they use the rectangular survey system like Florida, then they have a combination of both, because this is not a perfect rectangle, right? We have this going on right here, right? So that's not a rectangle like I was showing you. So we have to have a combination of it. So this will be lot 7, block 8, Grand Oaks subdivision of the southeast quarter, which you guys know how to identify now, of the southeast quarter of section 35, township T28S, route R19E of Tallahassee Principal Meridian in Pinellas County, Florida. The cool thing is that in New Jersey, half of this stuff will not be here. This will not be here at all. It would just say, let's say Pinellas County, New Jersey. Whatever. Okay? But the example has to be here for the combination of things. And that's the lot and block. Simple. All right. So I got a question for you guys before we move forward, which is very simple. Until now, we've been addressing land only, right? I told you that the deed and the legal description only talks about land. When you buy property, it doesn't say that it's a 1 family, 2, 3, 4, 100. It doesn't say anything like that. Remember I said that? Great. So now we have a problem. What if I own a condo on the 10th floor? If the legal description only talks about land, that means a surface, how am I going to identify my unit on the 10th floor? Right? So the legal description only talks about land. My property is located on block 8, lot 7. But I'm on the 10th floor. If the legal description does not describe the structure that's there, how do we identify it? Anybody? Anybody? I already got one answer here. In case you guys did not hear it, I'm going to hold on to that one. Waiting on you guys. Lot 8, 10th floor. Okay. Anybody else? Lewis, I'm pretty sure you got the answer. You're just roaming, so I just want to make sure you got it. YouTubers, you can give me an answer as well. That's it? I only got Liliana and Andrea's answer. Nobody else? Nobody else can guess how we figure out? Anybody can guess it? Just saying? No? Can anybody figure out how we describe? We have the surface. How do we describe something on the 10th floor? Oh, this is difficult. Okay, let me point this out again. Anyone? Stephanie, elevation. Thank you. Yes. Describing the elevation. So that's the answer I got from Lilian. Yes. Elevation, the height. All right. So we're going to say this is the land where it's located, right? Block and lots, block 8, lot 7, whatever. And then the building. This is the 10th floor. Okay? My unit is located, as an example, 100 feet. This is the floor. Okay? And it ends, my unit ends at 110 feet, and this is called ceiling. Okay? So how do we describe? We're going to measure elevations. We already know where the land is, but now which unit is mine? Okay? We're going to figure out from surface, where does it start? So that's the floor. And where does it end? So that's the ceiling. Our unit is that airspace. If you guys remember, for a condo, it's the airspace, floor to ceiling. Okay? And then there, at that height, we would have unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, and so on. Okay, but how do we describe? It's the land, as we just said, and then elevation. The floor and the ceiling, where it starts, where it ends. Measuring elevation. Now, to describe the property located above or below the Earth's surface, such as air rights of a condominium, a surveyor must know the property's elevation. The property elevation is based on reference points called datums, and these have been established throughout the country. The original datum was defined by the U.S. Geological Survey as the mean sea level at New York Harbor. Okay? Now, all elevations in everything we do right now in the world are based on New York Harbor. Just like time is based on GMT, Greenwich Meridian Time, London. Okay, so that's that line right there. So London's 0.0, Lisbon's 0.0, right? And then anything from Lisbon on is plus 1 hour, plus 2 hours. Anything from Lisbon back or London back, it's minus 1 hour, minus 2. We are in the east side, we are on -5 or -4, depending on the time of the year, right? And then if you go to California, then it's another 3 hours behind, okay? So they put reference points. I mentioned that earlier, right? For elevation is the same thing. The mean sea level, where the water does not rise or lower, right? There's no tide or currents affecting the ocean. That's where it stops. You could put more water, but it doesn't do anything. The mean sea level was established as a point of reference. Stephanie, you're making me dizzy. As a point of reference throughout the world. And that's simple because if you guys go, let's say, this is the land, right? This is the water. Across the United States, we have areas of land that are below the water. And then we have areas like Colorado that are way up high, right? Mountains. So if we were to use if we were to use Earth, right, the land itself as a point of reference for altitude, we'd be screwed, right? But water is water. Across the world, oceans supposedly have no more altitude to them. They're all the same, right? So this is a point of reference because the oceans is like filling up a cup. That's it. You cannot put more or it'll pour over, right? So all altitude is based on datum, and that datum is the water at New York sea level. When you go on an airplane and they say we're 20,000 feet above, right? We're up to 20,000 feet. 20,000 feet of what? You could be in California, you could be in Japan right now. You're 20,000 feet of New York Harbor. Okay? That's it. 20,000 feet of New York Harbor. What they've done inside land, so as you go inland, what they've done is create small reference points. So that's New York. This one might be somewhere in PA, so let's call it Philadelphia. Okay. This right here is Boulder, Colorado, as an example. So as you go, they created small points referencing New York Harbor. These small points are called benchmarks. The main datum is New York, and as you go away, right, from the datum, we have benchmarks. Much like if you go on the Parkway or Turnpike as an example, you guys see numbers on the side of the road, right? Those are mile markers. Those are benchmarks to identify how long it takes to get from point A to point B in case of an emergency most of the times, right? So these are benchmarks, reference points along the way. So the ocean is the point of reference for measurements. Yes, Andrea. That's what we use. So altitude. And if you guys ever look at the altimeter in the cockpit or of a helicopter or an airplane, it's blue, right? Because that's the water. That's the line that they use, water. Okay. Questions? Cool stuff to learn, right? Next time you're on an airplane, you already know. You could be 5 feet from hitting Boulder, Colorado, but you're 20,000 feet from the water, which doesn't matter in the middle of Colorado. Anyway. All right, guys, we're going to go into a small break. It's now 3:32, almost 3:33. We're going to be back at 7:33. We're going to get back at 45. Okay? 7:45. So you got 12 minutes to go on your break. I'll see you guys in a bit. YouTubers, I'm going to close this session and open another one right after. See you guys in a bit.